Gen Con 50. I'm at the Tunnels and Trolls booth with Meta Arcade. Yes, just Meta Arcade, not Meta Arcade Game like I was thinking, because I'm a wacko. I mean, it is interview 20 of the show already.
Yeah, it's about the same here. I feel you.
Yeah, but they come to you.
Yeah.
I go to them.
Well done.
It's fun. It's fun. Difficult and fun. But anyway, we're going to talk about their new app, and then their new app, and where the app's going to go. So 2 apps.
You got it.
And the first app is Tunnels and Trolls, and it's primarily solo adventures. Well, how'd you guys get started?
Sure. So, basically the idea really for me came to the notion of it was time for me to create something, time for me to make a game. And I'm not technical anymore, and I've never even been a little bit artistic, but like a lot of people here at Gen Con, I've written a lot of adventures, and I can do storytelling and narrative, and we all can. And so I thought about how to make something where you could take a story that you've written and turn it into something interactive. I've been a lifelong Tunnels and Trolls player, and my head went very quickly to the solo adventure creation in Tunnels and Trolls. Now, a lot of people know D&D was the first role-playing game ever published. They may not know the second one was Tunnels and Trolls.
Correct.
And it was made by Ken St. Andre as a bit of a reaction to what he viewed as the unnecessary complexity of the original Dungeons & Dragons, which came from tabletop wargaming with movement rates in inches and very complicated combat. And Ken was inspired to build a role-playing game that was more like a Marvel comic, right? The combat was fast and furious, and characters had really interesting dilemmas that they went through. And that was how he got around to coming up with Tunnels and Trolls, with a much more simpler rule system that allowed for a broader bet of narrative gaming. Then came the solo adventure, which was the first time that, as a gamer, you could play a game by yourself when you didn't have your group around. And over the past 40 years, over 40 of these adventures have been published. So the idea for me came to, wow, I could make my own Tunnels and Trolls adventure. I could make it something that would work on mobile and other computer platforms and such. If I had a platform where I could pull in the art, pull in the audio, and then make that thing run. And as I got through that process and started talking with the Fellowship of the Troll about doing a partnership to license their property and things, suddenly it's like, well, wait a minute, if this is a thing that is working for me, it could work for anybody. Anybody could make one of these adventures. And so that's really where the vision goes. We launched officially yesterday on the Apple App Store and Google Play with Tunnels and Trolls Adventures, as you said, and these are a series of solo adventures that you'll play with a persistent character. Here they are, we'll show you some of that, who levels up and increases and goes through more and harder adventures as we go. We've started with 5 adventures plus a tutorial. You can play them all for free, as long as you're willing to watch an ad before the adventure begins. We don't interrupt the gameplay and stick an ad. You don't have a banner running, but that's how you'll get your heart that will allow you to enter an adventure. Or you can buy the adventures directly for $1 or a few dollars for the bigger ones. Nothing too expensive if you want to turn off the ads forever in those adventures. And as you play through, you level up, you get more loot, you get better equipment. We keep publishing more adventures. We're already working on the adventures that we'll be publishing next week and the week after that. We can show you that on the Adventure Creator.
So you're planning on weekly?
That's the plan. That is the plan. And we'll show you, because the next one is almost done already, and I can show you in progress here using the tools of the Adventure Creator that we've got. Because coming out in the winter, our plan will be to release Tunnels and Trolls Adventures on PC, Mac, and Steam, but to also begin the closed beta of the Adventure Creator, so then people can start making their own adventures. And in that way, every time you make an adventure, we'll take a look and make sure there's no hate speech and objectionable content and plagiarism. Assuming you're a good actor, we can, if you choose, we can publish it for you out to the App Store and Google Play and Steam, and every time somebody plays your adventure, you'll get a big share of all the advertising and purchasing revenue it generates.
Nice. I got a new job.
Well, that's what we hope. I mean, think about it, right? Think about all the people here at Gen Con 50 who have written adventures, who think about how people are now Twitch streamers as a profession, or WordPress bloggers, the things that people are able to do now, even though they aren't technical, right? That was kind of the vision here of like, well, if I'm not technical and I can make an adventure, and anybody can, think of all the adventures we've all written over these years, all this, creative content just waiting to be published in a digital format, so now that everybody can play it on a device they already own. That was a pretty exciting proposition, and that's how this thing got started.
Okay. I don't think I've got any questions. I mean, it's straightforward. It does all the dice rolling for you.
Yep.
And it's a cool dice roller. I mean, well, you'll see. I mean, I think we should see.
Let's do this.
Let me move.
Let's talk about it, right? So, the first adventure we like people to start is Naked Doom. And Naked
She's not naked.
No, but you are. when you begin this
Oh,
adventure
that's
with a new
right. I just
character.
played it. I should have known that.
So the story of Naked Doom is it was the 4th adventure ever published for Tunnels and Trolls, and it's a story about how you are a criminal convicted of some unknown offense in the seat of imperial power in the world of Tunnels and Trolls. And in order to regain your freedom, you need to go through this dungeon of death and poisons and monsters and such. And if you get out, you get your freedom. So we'll start this up.
I didn't get out.
Yeah, a lot of people don't. Don't feel bad. And we'll start with a veteran character so that we don't die in the first couple rooms. But part of what I always enjoyed about this adventure is the opening text from Ken St. Andre of like, I admitted at the start, I am honestly trying to kill your first level characters, and I think I have a good shot at getting them in the first room. So that's how Naked Doom begins. And with that, so, you know, to start with, here's your moment-to-moment experience, right? It is very much like a modern digital choose-your-own-adventure book. You've got art that you're looking at, you've got story that you're reading, you have choices that you make. The art that you see here largely is from the 40-plus years of Tunnels and Trolls archives, you know, digitally scanned in and remastered, in some cases digitally colored, and we're bringing in art from other sources because ultimately we do think this can, in the same way that we're starting with it being a creative platform for narrative, it can be the same for art. And so people can upload their art and earn revenue from when their art is being used in adventures and such. You also have a persistent character, and so, you know, your portrait, your permanent stats, your temporary stats, your inventory and such. And so, you know, Morgoth here is a 7th level character, substantially tougher than the average person going through Naked Doom. Now, this basically tells you the story I just told you, so we'll skip right to the introduction here. We'll turn up the volume a bit. Because what you've got now is, again, imagine you're playing this on your mobile device with your headset, you're getting the fully immersive, authentic experience, but in a more light and stackable way than, you know, most mobile games sort of demand you to log in every couple hours or whatever, you lose something. We just wanted people to be able to enjoy the narrative at their own pace. And so the adventure here, right, it begins with 2 of the Empire's best archers firing poison arrows into your back as you run away in terror. And it starts with, you'll have to roll one of these saving rolls.
Sweet. See? Sweet.
There you go. All right, you made the first one, and here comes your second one. Wow, okay.
I'm rolling.
Yes, you are. Would you like to? You could?
I roll well.
So you've made it out of the first corridor, and now all right, you turn the corner, you're alive. You get to decide which way to go. Now, I can give you tips, or you can just...
We're going to go in the middle.
Right on.
And then you get this little story here.
Yeah, and you hear the fountains going, and you get to make a decision. Do you want to drink from one of the fountains?
It's water. We'll drink from the 3rd.
That's a good choice. Unless you roll very poorly. Which you did not.
I don't.
So the pool of greatness, if you make that saving roll, it triples your strength, dexterity, charisma while you're in the adventure.
Oh.
Much tougher now.
Wow. Kind of like you wander around, you explore, and you find frogs, and you roll the die.
No wandering monster.
Oh, it's too bad. I wanted to kill something.
Oh, that's not hard to do. We can get you there. So go ahead, continue.
Yep. Now, I think I'm going to eat frogs.
Well, okay. That's an interesting path. Because now you're at the mushroom farm.
Yes, I'm at the mushroom farm. Okay, continue. And I will carry some back with me.
Well, the goblins aren't going to appreciate that.
That's okay. They're goblins. I can kill goblins.
You're going to be fine. Morgoth, especially after the pool of greatness is pretty mighty.
Oh, there it is. Holy, lots of dice. That's a good roll.
Yep, you're not going to have a hard time with that.
I killed the goblins.
Now you get their loot.
That's a bad roll.
It is. You're going to get some silver.
Oh, man.
But the mushrooms didn't help you much, so now you're passed out.
Oh, no.
Ooh.
That could be bad.
You lost a lot of strength.
That's okay.
But don't worry, Morgoth is pretty tough. He's going to be fine.
I'll follow the tunnel.
Right on.
And then, oh, here we go. Let's see, what do I want to do? I want to explore the edge.
All right.
Oh, I found a ring. Let's be brave. Put it on.
So this is an interesting mechanic that a lot of the Tunnels and Trolls solo adventures had, where they would teleport you from one adventure to the next.
Oh no.
So in Naked Doom, this would take you to the Death Trap Equalizer dungeon, which we have not coded yet, so we can't teleport you yet. But this is very much what we plan for in the future, is how all these adventures will link together.
Very cool. So once again, dimly lit tunnel. Okay, continue. This time, he's got good dexterity, right?
Yep.
We'll walk.
There you go.
Oh, I'm being attacked. Dexterity. I can do that.
So far, so good.
And then luck. I can do this. Yep.
You made it.
So,
now it's worth mentioning, so this is a piece of art illustrated by Liz Danforth, who we have here in the booth today. Liz is one of these legendary artists who has been part of the role-playing game industry for decades and was really one of the first female professionals in the industry. So very excited to be working with her. We licensed a bunch of the original art that she had done from Flying Buffalo, but in this case, we actually started commissioning new art because there were a number of places in these adventures where the art had never been done. So this is one of the first illustrations added to Naked Doom by Liz.
So this basically tells me I'm coming to a place where I have to make a decision.
Oh yes, as often happens.
Jump to the trench or explore the side tunnel. Now we'll go there.
All right.
Strength.
Should be okay.
Should be. Flying colors. 100 adventure points because I can jump. I'm going to study the room. I need clothing. I'm a fighter.
Uh-oh. All right, that's not too bad.
That's not so bad.
But you did go from 30 con to 13, so
That's painful.
be careful. But you got some treasure.
6.
More
What
silver.
the heck? I am in a room now. Ooh, it has a tunic. I've got clothing.
You do.
But I'm going to look at the weapon.
Let's see it.
That's pretty good. Some kind of dagger. Gigantic dagger. Yeah, I'm strong, so I'll take it.
Ah, surprise.
That's not a surprise. I knew I was going to get attacked.
Ooh, I think you have to fight a Balrog. I think you can take him, though.
That could be bad.
I think you got him.
That's a lot of dice.
Yeah, now, if you were really a beginning character going through this,
I'd be dead.
that'd be a much tougher combat.
I took spite damage.
Yep. So spite damage is a fun mechanic introduced in Deluxe Tunnels and Trolls, where every 6 that is rolled will inflict at least 1 point of damage in spite of the protection that your enemy has. So you took a little bit of damage. All right, I'll warn you, you're near the end. Of course, you didn't even think about it.
That's right.
All right, so here, if you roll low, you're going to be fine. If you roll high, you could be in trouble.
I'm going to be in trouble.
No, I think you're fine. Well, let's see. And now you got
7 guards.
Okay, it's all going to be in the rolling. They got more dice than you, but you got a lot more ads. Can they roll more than 15 every time, or more than 40 on their 15 dice?
Nah.
We're going to find out. Oh, that's a lot of 6s, brother.
Oh, I'm in trouble.
Yeah, and that's a lot of spite damage, too. Uh-oh. All right, you took a little bit of damage, but you don't have a lot of con left.
They're dead right here. My dagger of love.
I got bad news for you.
How much damage did I take?
It's over.
Oh my gosh. Dun, dun, dun.
So that's the moment-to-moment experience of an adventure. As you see, it's pretty fast. Okay, you died, no big deal. Just start again. You didn't lose any of your possessions or your adventure points. You lost what you earned in the adventure, but much like a choose-your-own-adventure book was, or an old TNT adventure, we don't tell you. In old TNT, they would tell you close the book and tear up your character sheet. Right? We think of it as a saved game before you entered an adventure. And what I'll show you now are the tools that we are using to make these things. And so this right here is the adventure we are publishing next week. This is called Stop Thief, and Stop Thief is written by a guy named Michael Stackpole, who is maybe better known as a writer of Star Wars, graphic novels, and novels. He wrote the source material that ended up being incorporated into the Rogue One movie. New York Times best-selling author, but he got his start at Flying Buffalo working on Tunnels and Trolls. And his adventures were all set in the city of Gull in Tunnels and Trolls, which has a rich criminal underbelly. And in one of the adventures we launched with yesterday, Golden Dust Red Death, you are a broke, unemployed adventurer who decides to try smuggling some drugs to make some money. Stop Thief is the reverse of that. You are hired by the magnate of a shipping fleet to try and investigate who is stealing from him. And so this is how the adventure flows. And in each of these frames is a screen that you would see on the computer here on your mobile device if you're playing on that. The purple lines indicate paths, a choice that you are taking to go to one room or another. Red and green indicate conflict resolutions. Green is where you have successfully won a combat or made a saving roll. Red is if you fail. And so with this map here, kind of how it works, any one of these frames. So here's a frame that describes you've been found out by the gang that you're a plant, and so they're going to feed you to the rats, and that may be the end for you. And you roll a dexterity roll to try and get out of that. Each of the rooms that you have here has the ability to change the art, and so we've got a couple thousand images now, largely from the history of Tunnels and Trolls and 40 years of these adventures, but some new art that we've brought in from different sources. Some of this art we have, the classic art here, as you saw in Naked Doom. Wow, I should slow down with that. We've started to digitally color and try that out and getting feedback on what people like there. And when we did this at PAX South for the first time, we were asking people, hey, do you want to make an adventure? And everybody was like, yeah. And what do you want to make? I don't know. And so we would just hit the random button, up would come a random image, and there you go. What's the adventure that's happening here? Similarly, for each of these frames, you can pick audio. And so in this case, right, we have number one, you have a music track. So, well, we'll pick a different one, right? So like, yeah, I got to turn this up if you're going to be able to hear it. So if you were looking for some kind of a nice, quiet, fluty thing going on, one of the adventures we're working on is Arena of Kazan, which is a big gladiator arena thing. Well, let me try that again. It's sort of a gladiator vibe, Roman Colosseum kind of thing. All sorts of stuff like that you can use in your adventures. Similarly, there are ambient noises, right? So you're in a large, dark room, and I don't know if there's going to be. It's kind of a soft, quiet sound there, but like, back to Arena of Kazan, right? There's no talking. You did something bad. Or, imagine you are, well, let's see what Paradise sounds like. So you can choose all these things to sort of set the ambiance of the adventure that you're in, and then similarly, different sound effects, right? So, here's the bats that you heard earlier when you were crossing the bridge, or let's see here, yeah, the Balrog that you fought earlier. Dozens of these sound effects, easy to add more, that allow you to sort of make the adventure richer and more immersive. Easy enough for you to, as you type in your narrative, and this is kind of how we're going to be growing things. We don't have a spell checker in this yet, and it drives us all nuts internally. Before we put this out live, we'll have a spell checker, right? That kind of stuff that needs to happen before we bring it out in the closed beta. And in each of these rooms, and I'll actually do this in a different room here so I can show you more stuff. So basically in each of these rooms, right, once again, pick a random piece of art. Oh wow, here we go. I'm in an arena fighting for my life. So you get the ability now to add any number of things, switching frames, which gives you those pick a path sort of things, a combat, a saving roll. We can give you an item, we can take an item, you can unlock achievements in the adventure and things like that. So for this one, let's go ahead and have let's have a hard monster to fight. Let's fight a living statue, and now let's add some audio here. So our music should not be a tavern. Let's go with the arena stuff that we were listening to. For the ambient noise, let's have a crowd cheering. And for the sound effects, what do we have? The living statue? What's a living statue sound like?
Second person.
Clanking.
Yeah, I'm trying to see. Oh, well, okay, here we go. I know what we can do for that.
Yeah, thanks. Nice games.
Where is the... oh, wait. There. Wait. Was that it?
That might work. Yeah, that works.
All right. So, and then basically what the platform will do for you, in this case a combat, right? So combats always spawn 2 frames where, get that out of the way, where basically anytime that there's a combat, it'll show you, wow, I got a bunch of other frames here. So here we are in the frame we just made, and it spawned a victory in combat and a defeat in combat. Now, in defeat, we generally assume that you're dead, but you as the writer could choose to put something else there, but let's not do that. Let's go ahead and put in a put in our death skull and put in our, let's see, our death stinger.
Yeah, it's based on
Or we can go with a, yeah, that's what we want. So we got our death stinger.
Attention Gen Con attendees, do you want $5,000?
And you were victorious.
Cash prizes totaling $20,000
got loot.
at Gen Con. Tomorrow, starting at 10 a.m.
We can give you now.
$10,000.
Let's give you some treasure. Let's give you a bunch of gold.
$5,000.
And
Come, join the fun in the Wabash Ballroom. Space is limited.
And then similarly, if we wanted to give you an item, right, a different kind of item, and it was something like, imagine you want to have the gold key to allow the player to open the gold door, so you give them the gold key here. You can create an item. You can create a monster for a boss monster, that sort of thing. And now we're going to end the adventure here, so if you win that fight, you complete the adventure successfully, and now we're going to play it.
All right.
And so what we, oh, actually, that's not what I want to do just yet. I want to go to the map view. I want to start right here. Preview.
Wow.
So now we're going to fire up the whole player again. And again, this is the kind of thing that we need to get better at with the build before we deploy it out for people, and be able to zip right back to the frame that you're in the adventure. All right, but here we are. This is the thing we just made. Here comes the living statue. And I think we'll beat this guy.
Maybe.
Wow, he's tough. Oh, that die is still going. This may take a while.
He absorbs damage.
Wow, he's tough.
Well, I think you might need to fix that part.
Yeah. But you are whittling him down. You lost. Well, we could die here. At any rate, right? This is going to take a little while because we have some fairly evenly matched opponents here.
Yep.
Oh wow, we might die.
We're gonna die.
Well, what happens is every time he rolls a 6, you still take a point of damage even if you beat him in the round. That's what's, yeah.
Wow.
This is not going well. Oh, this is it.
We lost. We have created the impossible arena.
The crowd enjoyed it though. And so, but there you go.
It was a good fight.
It was. And it just speaks to how easy it is to make something and try it out. So that's where we're going this winter with this thing.
All right. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks so
fun.
much.
I like it. I like it.
Excellent.
Bye, guys. You can say bye too.
Farewell. Thank you.
Oh, farewell. I haven't heard that in a while.